SMB, I feel like, well, obviously they're consultants, right? And consultants in the franchise space. And it's a very complex space. It's got a lot of moving parts, nuts and bolts. It's got a lot of traps. And so having a partner who understands those traps and can guide you through the whole process is I felt, it's reassuring. You know what I mean? You don't want to spend all your time, money, and effort doing something that's going to end up putting your ladder on the wrong tree. You know what I mean? So you're not set up for success. And so that's where I feel SMB, they have very in-depth knowledge in a lot of the key areas, be it marketing, be it marketing and advertising, or operations, or franchising itself, training and what have you. They have in-depth knowledge that I think is key for us because we're serious about franchising, right? We don't want to do something that's just duct taped together. We want something that will hold up, that will be a valuable asset that we can franchise to those who want to carry our brand to its next level.
And I love that so many people in the team have also been where we are. They've experienced, they've built brands, and they've built brands even in our industry. And that's super helpful because it's a validation, for us. We're like, okay, they know what they're talking about. let's listen to them first. And that's been super helpful. That was, putting together Fizzy Mama was pretty rough. First, I should say that we launched Mama Hawk's Kitchen in 2020 and then Fizzy Mama in 2022. So both of them had, we had problems with the shutdown, COVID, and by the time we were looking into building Fizzy Mama, it was very difficult to find restaurant equipment we wanted to just crazy things like rent an ice machine. Well, a company said, sure, yeah, we'll rent you an ice machine. But then 2 weeks before we were supposed to open, they're like, oh, well, we can't get you an ice machine for 6 months. And we thought, well, that's not gonna work for us. So there were a lot of building blocks in our way at first. And so we kind of patched together what we wanted, knowing that that's not exactly how it was gonna be. When we really decided to move forward with franchising, that's when we said, okay, we've got to put into place exactly how we want this to be. And now that it's a few years later, we can do that. So the Fizzy Mama that exists today is much different than the one that we patched together in 2022. And what we have now is just so much better. I'm excited about this shop. I'm excited for people that want to own a franchise because it's so cool. It's just a really cool concept. I think that when they walk in and see it, they're going to be like, yes, this is the one I want.
We went to the one last year, even before, we went to the summit before we even signed, with SMB to carry our franchises to the next step. And we just found it amazing to talk with so many people, to hear from people who've been where we are, who understand the process, who don't put rose-colored glasses on when they talk about how challenging it can be to develop your brand in multiple locations and what have you. And so we just enjoy the opportunity to, connect and meet. We also didn't
understand anything last year. We didn't.
Yeah.
There were a lot of acronyms that were thrown out.
Yeah.
We're like, what are they talking about? And a lot we know a little bit more now. So I think we're going to get even a little bit more out of it, which is exciting.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we met Steve and he gave a talk, right?
Intro to franchising.
And that was the whole reason we went to see him. I think we had to get tickets for just his, or well, if we're going to do this, let's find out if this is for us, and we sat and listened to him. And we were like, we got to tell him what our businesses are. We want to know if what we have is franchisable. And so we went up and talked to him afterwards and found out that he literally lives just down the street from our businesses and knew who we were, knew what the businesses were. He's like, oh my gosh, and it was like instant family. He was so awesome. And he invited us to the summit, and that's how we ended up here last year. And we thought this was just great. And we're like, yep, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to build our business.
At SMB, it's all about the relationship.